are back again with another episode of Light Skin. Moving along, still got our light skin mugs here.
Let's go.
You know, just nothing in them, so it was, but it's gone now. Probably don't need no introduction to the man beside me. We got my friend, brother, Hunter McCullough.
How you doing, man?
Hey, not bad.
It's been a hot minute. We go back a ways
we go
here
back.
now.
We
yeah.
go back. We met 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
I think it was about 4 years ago.
Probably 4.
Yeah.
Through our buddy Carl, Rick Sunstrom. Shout out to Ricky Carl, my little baby brother. But it was at the street dance in Two Harbors.
Yep.
And y'all thought I was fake. Didn't even know I existed because Carl kept saying, Pay's gonna come to the show, Pay's gonna come. And you know me, my life is wild.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's been like 6 months of him telling us all these crazy stories. I'm like, there's no way this guy exists.
Yep. And then bam, here we go. Freaking, I fell asleep in the bar.
Yeah.
We walked to Quick Trip at 3 a.m, ate every sandwich on it. It was a wild time. But
crazy.
we gonna lead back up to that.
Sure.
Hunter, thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning like we always do. Baby Hunter, where were you born? Parents, siblings, start from the beginning.
Yeah. Born right here in Duluth, St. Luke's Hospital, March 8th, 1997. So 27 years old.
Yep.
Born and raised here in the Twin Ports in Two Harbors is where I went to high school.
Yep.
My parents are originally from Coon Rapids, so they came up here in 1994, bought the house, and then they had me in 1997. I'm the oldest brother.
Oldest brother.
Yep.
Then you got a baby brother.
I got a baby brother, little Colton.
Little baby Colt. He's wild.
He's another crazy one.
We almost had him on, but we would have been in jail. So we not even going. Colt, we'll have you on pretty soon.
Did you ever have alcohol in this podcast?
Oh, we will. But it would have been going over.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Pacing ourselves is what we do from here. All right, so it's you and Colt. So did you ever? So I know y'all out in Brimson area now. Did you live in Duluth first and then move to Two Harbors, or did you just born here and then? Raised in Two Harbors.
Yeah, no, I've always lived in Brimson, so I still live out there too. You know, so what brought us all up here is my grandma, my dad's mom, bought a cabin up in kind of the Brimson area, and so that was back in 1992. And so my parents wanted to move up here at some point. They lived at that cabin for about a year or so, looking for a place up here. Bought the place where they still live now, where we grew up. Awesome house on a lake. And so that's kind of what brought us up here. And then they still live there, and it comes full circle. My grandma passed away a couple of years ago. Amen to that. Amen to that. And so me and my brother, it's our favorite place in the world, is this cabin.
Oh yeah, this is a wild spot.
It's awesome. We love it out there. So we worked real hard, and we ended up buying it about a year and a half ago. And now we live out there. So it all came full circle.
Heck yeah.
Seriously.
Awesome, man. So all right, you went to school in Two Harbors.
Yep.
If I remember, Two Harbors only go to school 4 days a week.
Yeah, and that started when I was probably in 6th grade.
Okay.
And we got real used to that.
Yeah. Now, what made it? Maybe I don't know if you know the story or not, but what made it go from 5 to 4 days?
If I remember right, I think it was budget things going on. So they wanted to shrink and make, not have school on the 5th day, which I think would help save money in the long run. And I believe it did. I don't know exactly how it worked, but as a kid, we're like 4 days a week. That sounds awesome.
I'm telling you, it's the best thing in the world. I wish we worked 4 days in a row.
Seriously.
But, I mean, it is what it is. We try not to complain.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
All right. What was life like growing up in Two Harbors? And I know Two Harbors proper, the town, and you lived in Brimson.
Yep.
So what was it like even, making friends out there, or, was it tougher being in Brimson, stuff like that? Or
I'll tell you what, I'm glad I was not an only child in Brimson, because the only time you have people out there is in the summer when all the cabin kids are up out on the lake or whatever. So me and my brother are very close because of that.
For sure.
But in town, you kind of know me. I'm an outgoing guy. I like talking with people and stuff. So, and honestly, I liked hanging out with the adults more than the kids.
I hear that.
I was like 5 or 6 years old having conversations with all these adults, and they're like, who's this weird kid that keeps talking to me, but he talks like an adult? It's the weirdest thing ever. But no, and I had, just going to school is kind of how I met everybody that I know. And it was an awesome time. But the bus ride into school, because we live out in Brimson, it's a 30-minute drive normally. Okay. But the bus ride was an hour and a half long. Yeah. So they had to go to all these side roads to pick up all these kids. And
probably worse in the winter when it's snowing.
Exactly.
Waking up at what time does school start? 8?
8 o'clock. It'd be 8 o'clock.
Shit, you up at 5 getting ready. Yeah, you was an adult. That's why you liked adults. Because you live like you worked in a factory. It's
Seriously.
crazy, bro.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So, like you said, grew up in Two Harbors. Did you grow up playing any sports?
Yeah, it might surprise folks out there. I'm not that athletic, but
Okay.
I did basketball when I was younger. I did baseball. I did football. Was my whole career until I was about in 10th grade, which I loved the most. That was a lot of fun. Was football. And
what
then
position?
I played. I was both on offense and defense at a time, and I believe I was right guard on offense. So lineman, of course.
Yeah,
I'm not catching any passes. Yeah. I'm not throwing any.
I was thinking safety. But back in the day,
yes.
I mean, we all evolve, you know. So
it's how it goes. But no. I was on the line. Part of the zoo, as they call it, at Two Harbors. So
why'd you stop in 5th grade?
A lot of it was music. I started to like music more than I liked doing sports, and so I wanted to focus more on that for my last 2 years. And so that's kind of the big reason why I quit football, is because music was starting to take over. I just wanted to focus on that all summer long and playing gigs and stuff. So that was when it really started to become a huge part of my life. And it always has been. Music has always been a huge part. Yeah. But more so, like, I really want to focus more on this was like 9th, 10th grade, around that year.
So was the whole, so, and this is, I'm at, so like I said, we've been friends for a bit. Yeah. But now this is stuff I'm learning. Is the whole family musical? Like mom, dad, cousins, stuff like that. Was everybody musical growing up?
What's weird is they really weren't. They both sing, and they both will say that they're bad singers. I think they're really good singers.
Listen, we've heard Pop sing.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And when I'm at the shows, Mom is in the ear. I'm like, Mom, you ain't that bad. If I ever started a band, you up there. So.
Yeah, we got the Partridge Family going on. Like, what's going on? But so the classic story that my dad always tells is that I was 4 years old, and I would go to the piano at family reunions, and this is like the first time this happened. And there was a piano there, and I would open the piano, and my dad was just getting ready to yell at me, like, "Get off the piano! What are you doing?"
We know how Pop sings.
Oh yeah, he can be scary at times. And I start plunking out note by note "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" from The Wizard of Oz, I think it is. And so I was learning by ear and playing it by ear, and they're like, "He's never touched the piano or played the piano or anything like that." So that's still how I learn music today, is all by ear. I can picture stuff in my head and learn with, especially the bass, and really pick up on stuff. But that's where it kind of first started, was when I was 4 years old. Yeah. I wasn't really good at anything, but that's kind of where it all started. That's the story that my dad always tells.
Awesome. Sorry, so 10th grade, music started to take off. Let's say this, what was the first band you were a part of? Was it Northwoods Band, or was it?
There was a bunch of different things. So shout out to Mr. Getton, 6th grade.
The man.
Brian Getton right there. You should know him, because
we'll meet.
Someday it's going to happen. He goes to a lot of shows, and he had this thing called Rock and Roll Club in 6th grade. Okay. And so he just had these cheap instruments, and his goal was just to get as many people on stage and loving music as much as he did. Okay. And so we all picked up guitars, drums, and anything that you could get your hands on, and we would all just form these little bands amongst our different friend groups. Okay. Ricky and Dalton both were in bands with us before the Northwoods Band. Okay. Same with Dennis, our other guy that was also in the Northwoods Band. So it's just funny that it all eventually comes full circle again. Yeah. But the first official band that I was in originally was called the Eli Hunter Band.
Eli Hunter, okay.
Eli Hebel, Hunter McCullough.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Very original name. And we ended up we were kind of a folk band, and Eli he's a fantastic songwriter. And he would write these folk songs, and we would do fun harmonies and things like that. That's and so that kind of started in, I think it was 9th grade that started. And so we would play in bars and stuff. And then the Northwoods Band came along once Eli and Dennis, a year older than me, same grade as Ricky, they were leaving far away to go to college. Okay. So we ended up kind of just forming this Northwoods Band with Colton. And Dennis actually did hang around for a little bit. So Dennis was with the band for another 4 or 5 years or so. So that was the first band. It was the Eli Hunter Band, and eventually was changed over to what's called the Lockpicks.
Okay, the Lockpicks.
Yep.
All right. This is exclusive.
We're learning a lot
here. For this, but we're gonna give it to you.
There we go.
All right. So when did the Northwoods Band officially kind of get moving and becoming kind of what they are?
Yeah. It was a lot of, because when you first start a band, as many people know, it's a lot of work. Setting up. You got to buy your own equipment. You got to set up everything. It's not just the 2 or 3 hours, or when we first started, the first hour or 30 minutes that you get to play. It's a lot of work setting up like the schedule and setting up all the equipment and all that stuff. And so it was a lot of work getting started, and we would get paid I don't know, $40 to $60 a gig or something like that. Like I think back to those days and I'm like, that's wild that happened back then. Yeah. But we were just having a blast.
Yeah, just enjoying it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it was all about. And so it took a while before we started, and it was before I got on air or anything like that. Okay. We started kind of getting our name out there a little bit more. I mean, I'd probably say we're about to have our 10th year anniversary in the Northwoods Band.
Damn, that's wild.
Isn't that awesome? It's coming up this July. And I think we're going to throw a big party. Of course, you're invited. That'll be a lot of fun.
I was coming anyway.
Hell yeah. And then we have, so it was probably, I'd say, maybe 3 or 4 years into it that we started to get a lot more traction anyway. And that's kind of where it just started taking off. We started getting more and more gigs, and it's just been an absolute blast. That's awesome. One of my favorite things in my life is music.
No, I'll tell you, when I first went to the show, and I had just heard about y'all from Rick, from Carl, and I was still fresh in Duluth anyway, This might have even been my second year in Duluth, period, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe third, I don't remember. And back home, we ain't got a lot of just bands like that. We just go out, you go to bars and stuff, you just listen to music.
Yeah.
And up here was different too, because it's just a bunch of white people, older white people too, but they party.
Oh, yeah.
And y'all put on such a fun show.
Thank you.
That even for people that say, oh, it's not my kind of music, that's okay. Because you going for the atmosphere more than, anything else, and just the vibes that it comes. And y'all such a fun group,
Seriously.
just working together that, I mean, I've jumped backstage with y'all and dance, and trust me, we've had some times, and I've always appreciated every show I've been to.
Oh, so. Totally. We appreciate your support, 100%, man.
It's a good time.
Oh, it's a blast. And that's a lot also, a big shout out to my brother Colton, who...
Yeah, he's a wild...
He's wild, yes.
And he'd get it rolling. That's one thing about Colt. Even if he noticed that the crowd ain't as live as it need to be, give Colton 5 minutes.
He doesn't care.
I promise you, your shirt gonna be on. You're gonna leave there with no shoestrings. Yes. It's gonna be crazy.
Yep.
It's gonna be the time of your life.
Yep.
I don't take my hair down ever. I've left shows. I don't even know where my scrunchie was at. Dreads all over the place, sweating bullets. But I said that was one of the best times I've had.
Seriously.
And then we go back to life like nothing happened.
Yeah, it's just a weird Saturday night. And I'm like, what just happened? I don't know where anything is. And then Sunday morning's like, all right, I guess we got to go back to real life now.
Well, let's get to church.
Get to church.
We got to pray something away. All right, so transitioning off a band a little bit. How did you first get into, or what even drove you to want to get into the news, doing weather like you do?
Yeah. One of my first memories of like anything news related is like Thanksgiving at our cabin with our grandma and dad and mom, and me and Colton would always, for some reason, I don't know why we would do this. We were just me especially, a nerd. Just such a nerd. Like my lifelong, still to this day.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
It's right now.
100%. I still want to be like a school bus driver. Like that's one of my big dreams.
You fit the bus driver, the button up. And it makes sense.
Seriously.
Yeah, I can see this being a later retirement thing.
Yep.
You, okay.
I always say before.
I'll be a bus aide.
Yeah, there we go.
Up, I whoop their ass.
You keep them in line.
Just sit your ass down. Easy. I start practicing now, so we got it down.
There we go.
We get this career going.
The dynamic duo is what we're going to be.
Yep.
But as far as news goes, like we would sit at this big table, and at least Colton was cooler than me always. But I would just pretend like I was reading the news. I had these placemats, and I would set them in front of me, and I would pretend like I was looking at the camera and reading the news, like just a big nerd. Yeah. I was like 8 or 9 years old. Like, what am I doing? What? Yeah. Get some friends. Go outside and hang out with them. Exactly. Yeah. Sitting there waiting for Thanksgiving dinner, reading the news. But I didn't know that I wanted to do meteorology, anything weather related, until I was probably in 11th grade. And what we did was these aptitude tests.
Okay.
And it was career readiness class. And 2 things came up for me, and it was anesthesiology.
That's crazy.
Wouldn't that be weird?
I tell you what, that was my first. When I first went to college, I started off going to school for anesthesiology.
No way.
Yeah. And then I said, nah.
It's a lot of school.
12 years?
It's insane.
So think about it. I just graduated high school 12 years, and now you want me to go back to first grade? Essentially, and do it again?
Seriously, and it's 10
and
times.
pay for it?
Exactly,
Nah,
pay
you're
for
crazy.
it. way harder than anything in high school or anything like that. And you got people's lives at stake. Like you can murder people.
Yeah, then now look at us.
Yes.
Jail.
Jail. Now we're in jail.
Prison.
You know, which is probably going to happen anyway sometime down the road.
But at least we got time there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, it's different.
Exactly.
All right, so you want to be anesthesiology.
Yep, and so anesthesiology was one of the things that came up from the test. The other thing was meteorology.
Okay.
And I've always been interested in the weather, but I never thought of kind of making a career out of it. And what especially was enticing to me is I love performing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can marry my two things. I love the weather. It's super interesting and cool, and I love performing. And so that's what I love the most about meteorology is being in front of the camera and performing. Right? It's why I love music also and everything else like that. It's just something fun about it.
Now, did you have to go to college for that?
Yes.
So where did you go?
So I went to St. Cloud State.
Okay.
They've got a really good meteorology program. Cool. They have a really good mass communication program as well. And so it's a 4-year degree. And there was many calls to my parents being like, "Listen, this is way too hard. I want to drop out." And they would talk me down, and I'd, seriously, almost to tears, like just almost wanted to bawl my eyes out. I'm like, "This is so hard, and so much math, so much physics," and I'm very thankful that they talked me through it.
Yeah, for sure.
A very great support system, you know. So. And we made it through somehow. I don't know how I made it through.
Drugs, alcohol.
No.
Psych.
No.
We got through.
Exactly. It was something. So we made it through, and ended up where I am today. And it's been a lot of fun. I really love this ride that I'm on right now.
What was the first gig you got out of college in the weather field?
So I ended up doing an internship at KBJR, where I work right now, and that was the junior summer of college. And then right afterwards, at graduation, I get a call from our chief meteorologist, Adam Clark, and he says, "Do you want a job? It's not in weather at this time, but you can. It's called the assignment editor." Yeah. And so what I would end up doing is I would organize kind of the day for the reporters and work on. I wasn't the best at it.
Yeah,
but it got my foot in
exactly
foot in the door. And I'll tell you what, it also taught me a lot about how news works, which was super cool and very interesting to know how to do both things. You know, eventually Adam Clark, our other chief, moved on, and we had our morning guy move up to the chief position, which he's still at right now, Adam Lord, shout out. And I was able to move into the morning position. And so that's kind of how I got my foot in the door there for being a meteorologist.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I watch the news every once, and probably only if you want, I pretty much watch it.
Sure.
But I'll go over to Fox 21 station because I'm on there a lot.
Yeah.
Just promoting events and kind of stuff that we do.
Yep.
And I remember when I first found out that the weather wasn't on the screen. And I remember looking over and I said, "What are you looking at?" I'm thinking, "Oh, they gonna move this." No, he just looked at the TV thing. I'm thinking, this is hard.
Yeah.
This ain't as easy as it seemed.
No.
Because wherever you pointing has to correspond with what's on the screen down here. You know? So how was it kind of getting used to that, or just a lot of practice before you even go on air, or what?
I'll tell you what, my first time going, so there was a station at college.
Okay.
And so it was my freshman year, fall semester, I got to go on air. And it's still on YouTube somewhere, and it is not good. It was terrible.
We might plug that into the vid.
There we go.
So y'all can see it.
It's somewhere out there.
That's hilarious.
For being the first time, it wasn't the worst thing on the planet, but it definitely, I've gotten a lot better since then. Thankfully, that's what college is for. And the coordination, like you said, is one of the biggest things that you have to get down. Is looking at these 3 screens. There's a screen in front of you, and there's 2 screens on the side of you, and there's a big green thing behind you, and you just gotta know how to point. It takes, I don't know, it took me probably half a year to get it down. Yeah. And even still, once in a while, it's like I point somewhere wrong or something like that. But no,
it makes sense.
Exactly, but it's just the weirdest thing. But I think I've got to a point where I've got it kind of down anyway.
Now, and this is just parts of meteorology I don't know. Do you kind of gather the information yourself and kind of build that green screen out, or do you have a team that does it? How does that all work?
So for meteorologists, we all make our own forecasts, and there's different models that you can look at and different data sets that you can look at that give you the temperature, the future temperature, And each model has its own solution. And so you have to take all these different models and use your own meteorological intuition and like things like Lake Superior. How's Lake Superior going to affect this forecast? There's going to be right, exactly. It's going to be a little bit of a lake breeze today, so I'm going to go with a little bit cooler than what models are saying. You know, you got to kind of factor in all this sort of stuff, and so that's where the meteorology comes in. You're writing down models and what their different solutions are, but then you kind of have to interpret what is actually going to happen and do as best as you can with a forecast.
That's awesome. That behind the scenes work is a lot. And this is the things like people don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that like what goes into it. You know, and I think it's even the same for being in a band. Is, you know, a lot of people see you up there performing and thinking, oh, you know, this is easy. Which for y'all, I will say, I've been to shows where y'all do a set sometimes where you just have people give y'all songs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and you might say, all right, we can look up the lyrics, but we can't look up the keys.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And it's like to watch y'all just freestyle this thing is wild. You know, it's super impressive to see. But a lot of people don't know like the work that went even to that. You know, just to be able to get yourself to that point. You know, Seriously. It's a lot of work, and it never ends because y'all evolve and the music that people want to hear evolve and things like that, you know, so y'all got to do a lot of that. I just think it's dope as hell.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, talent is a real thing. But anybody can work their butts off and do whatever they want to do amazingly. You know, it matters on how much time you put in, how much you care about it, and how much effort you want to put into the whole thing. And we've put in a lot of effort, which has been fantastic. And I mean, we've had amazing fans and just amazing. I don't even know what to say. I'm very, very humbled by what is going on, and it's just been an awesome experience so far.
For sure. So where do you see yourself going? Just like with the music part and meteorology, do you want to always be a meteorologist or kind of move over to news anchor, or like what are you thinking for yourself?
Yeah, I think I will always be a meteorologist. We also have the new lifestyle show, The Northern Life, which is kind of what
I've seen a couple of those.
Totally. And it's more of a looser format, kind of just almost like this, where you're just talking about whatever you want to talk about, you know? And that's shown some good signs, too. I think a lot of people like that, which, I mean, that's the most fun that I've had in a long time is doing that.
And it keeps the job fresh for you.
Exactly.
Break up the norm, so.
Yep. So we've been having a lot of fun doing that. And ideally, I love this area so much. I'd love to stay here as long as possible. For sure. So I that's kind of where I want to focus on, is just maybe starting to build a life up here and stay up here as long as I can. The problem is it's not the biggest market on the planet, you know. So they got the Twin Cities down to the south. That's another thing to look at. And but I like I said, as long as I can, I'd like to stay up here.
Yeah. And trust me, I get that. Not being raised up here myself, like. I love the area. I love Duluth. And you have to get plugged in to love it, I will say. Yeah. Because I think if I was just outside not doing anything, you wouldn't know what Duluth has to offer all around. Seriously. You know, and I probably would have got sick of it a while ago, especially just dealing with the politics of it and, you know, just bullshit, whatever. It's life. It comes with it. But when you really get plugged in, and we even talked about this when Dan Fanning was on, of being a part of the culture in Duluth and the growth of it and seeing how what you can add, you know, and help out in different areas. That's a big deal. Yeah. You know, so, and the work that I do and yours even coincide. It may not be direct service, but it is a service, and it's something that people enjoy, you know, because you see a lot of jobs. I mean, even in your field, people just go to work just to go to work. Yep. But when you can go and you love what you do, people are more invested in it. You know, what do I care about the news? I can look at weather on my phone. But I'm thinking, hey, you know what? I need to get my spirits up. Let me see if I'm on TV. It's something simple as that. You know what I mean? Just because you putting your heart in what you do. And that's the same even when you performing with music. So, I think that's what people really appreciate about y'all. Because it's, like you said, it's talent everywhere. You know, but just really loving your craft is a big deal.
Thank you. I sure appreciate that. Those are kind words. And Duluth...
It's all lies. We just don't care.
Once they shut off, we're fighting. It's go time. But Duluth itself, I mean, what I love so much about Duluth, like I said, is the community. Everybody's so welcoming. Everyone's so warm. It's such an awesome place to live. The Northland is an awesome place to be. I love Duluth because it has everything you need for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
And then you drive 2 miles in any direction, you're in the country.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah.
That's true. You can get downtown and, Lincoln Park and stuff is close. But you go up that hill a couple miles, you on Rice Lake, and you like, I'm not supposed to be out here right now. Then I'm in between, Duluth and Two Harbors, and you like, all right, where am I getting into? You know what I mean? But everywhere I've been to so far, honestly, has been welcoming. Even Two Harbors, I feel like I know everybody there now.
Sure.
Then we go to Proctor when y'all have shows, and we know the whole bar there. And
exactly.
It's the town. So it is. You get plugged in here, you enjoy it, you love it, and you get to see like what the people are like in different areas, and just what they got to offer. So what about music scene? How do you see that even evolving? For you, as y'all keep moving along.
It's so weird for how, because Duluth, like I mentioned, has everything that you would need, but it is a small community. It is relatively small compared to other big cities. Our music scene is so freaking awesome. I mean, just
we got a lot of music.
Every kind of music that you can imagine, and there's so much talent out there, and everybody is so supportive of live music too. I mean, any show you go to, it's almost packed. There's a ton of people. It doesn't matter who the band is, what's going on, and it's so cool to see that kind of support. And that's one of the huge features of Duluth and this whole area is the amount of support that people have for live music, live events, musicals, anything like that. People love the live stuff, so it's weird that such a small community is able to support such an awesome thing, and I think there's nothing but positive stuff in the future. For music.
Definitely. That's good. Free time, apart from music and meteorology, all right, we know that, Hunter.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy? What do you do in your spare time? Like that nerd part of you. Like what? Who is Hunter McCullough outside of the performer?
Sure. I enjoy my downtime. Something weird with all of this stuff is that I used to be such an extrovert. I love going out and hanging out. Now I'd say I'm more of an introverted extrovert. Like I really never used to enjoy my alone time. Now I do every once in a while. So like once or twice a week, I like to try to just hang out with maybe just my brother or the whole fam or whatever, and just hang out and talk. And honestly, family time, anything with family is the best thing in the world. So no matter where we are, as long as the family's together, it's we just have a blast no matter what happens. So there's not anything specific that I'm like, I really like to I'll play video games every once in a while. I'll go fishing. I love going fishing. Anything outdoors, hunting, fishing, all that fun stuff. But as long as you got family and also you have separated alone time, I'm very happy. Yeah,
no, that's a good piece. Like, because we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
Of like we are two very outgoing people.
Yes.
And we love to make people feel good and enjoy where they are. Because one, you never know what somebody's going through, and if you can be kind of that boost for them, it's always great. And sometimes you walk around and see so many people with their head down or life is bothering them, and it's like, what can we do to make you feel good or enjoy just this small interaction you have?
Amen.
And in those times, sometimes we neglect ourselves, and I do it with my work. And like I said, we've talked about it. In my job in the field I do, I have to make sure everybody is good at all times. Even if I ain't doing good.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's days I love my job and I love getting up, going to work. I love every bit of it. But there's times where I'm like, man, I hope I don't get a call about this today, or I hope nothing happens, and it's because I didn't know how to really use the little bit of time I did have for myself.
Yes.
And I am very much how you put a introverted extrovert, where I need time with people, but if I don't get time alone, I'm burned.
Exactly.
I'm burned out, and because I just smile all day too. And it's not like it's a fake smile, because like you said, we really enjoy it with you. It's just more of like, damn, can somebody ask me how I'm doing? Like, I'm sick of I ain't sick of it, but dang, like, I'm always, y'all good? Everybody, somebody just say, Paige, you are, and really mean it though. Don't just say, because everybody, how you doing today?
Yep.
Chill.
Yep.
I need you to really ask me. I probably ain't going to tell you.
Yeah.
Or I might, who knows?
Exactly.
But just to have somebody ask you is different.
And that's where a really good support system really helps out. That's so huge, what you're saying right there. And I'd argue you're busier than I am. You're one of the busiest people out there. So when you're somebody like us, you have to really be efficient with your time. And you're, especially, like you said, your alone time, you really have to recharge. You have to have that time. It's very important. So you have to be able to recharge and you know, get out and have fun again.
It is. I feel I'm 30. Well, I'm 32. Jesus.
Sure. Yeah, don't lie to the people.
Right, my bad. Yeah, 91 baby. Do the math. Carried at 8, dropped to 2.
You're in midlife, basically.
Yeah, midlife. About to be in crisis. Couple more years. It's over. I'm gonna get a horse and a farm, and I'm living.
But second you pull up in the Ferrari, I'm like, Pez is over. I don't know what's going on
I'm
here.
Done. Take me out before I do it. But I tell you, I used to love going out on weekends. Yeah. I still do here and there, you know. But I catch myself on some days. People hit me up, Pez, what you up to? We about to go out. Yeah. Nah. I'm not. Or I'm gonna say yeah. Y'all ain't gonna see me.
Nope.
I'm not
sure.
Nope.
Seriously.
I'm not gonna be there.
And that's okay. You gotta take that time.
I just want to sit down. Because sooner or later I know I'm gonna get a call. Yep. At least let me reach up. Give me 5 hours to binge a dumb show because I barely watch TV. Yeah. I don't really care about TV like that. Yep. But let me just get in front of a show, hang out with Naya, my dog, and just chill. Exactly. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna cook a nice meal for myself. You know I love cooking. Oh yeah, yep. Dude, I love it, and that's my little getaways, and just chill. Yep. Make a couple calls, which I do. I talk to Joe damn near every day, my brother every day. Yep. Stuff like that.
That's your support system, right there.
It is. And it is. We know, me and you know, 100,000 people, but the people we keep close are a good 5. Yep. But because we know, like I go back and say, when that 5 asks me how I'm doing, they really want to know how you doing. Exactly. So to have, and that's important. Yep. So, but it doesn't take away from, our love for people either. Exactly. And just to throw it out, because people, they selfish. Shut up. Shut up. Fine. All y'all love. Whoa. But so what's the next show you got?
Next show we have coming up here. Let's see. We got a busy summer coming up. Summer's always busy. We've got 1 to 2 gigs usually per weekend, depending on what's going on. But this weekend we're playing up in Orr, up at the Dam. I think it's called the Dam Supper Club. Okay, that's clever.
That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, right. That's cool as hell. Fantastic. Yeah. So
we're going to the Dam.
Whoa. Seriously, no, that's a great name for a bar up there. So we're gonna be playing up there, just me and Colton, and then the full band. Our next show, I believe, is going to be Half Eaten Donut, which is the KQDS, the radio stuff.
Earth Rider.
Yep, Earth Rider.
Oh, that's a fun show. I might pop out of that.
Seriously, you should. It's so much fun.
Is that 2 weekends from now, or do y'all got a gap in between?
I believe it's 2 weekends from now, so it's May 17th.
May 17th. Hey, if y'all around May 17th, get out. Ain't gonna be no donuts there.
No.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Bring a donut if you want. A lot of beer.
You want beer?
A lot. Yep. Maybe I'll bring some donuts.
There we go.
And I'll half eat all of them. And don't be upset because we want to go with the theme. Okay?
It's marketing, is what it is.
Exactly. You're welcome.
You're a genius. Is what you're.
Earth Rider. And get bigger shirts because every year I go, you got an extra large. I don't got an extra large body. I got a 3 extra large body, and sometimes 4, depending on if it's Hanes or Gildan. Yeah, it depends on the brand.
Exactly. No, I need the tent canvas size, whatever that is going on. We're 2 big fellas,
And shirts are hard to come across. Yes, they are. Yes. Or they ain't long enough, belly popping out. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Grow up.
See, I'm a tucker. I like the tucking, so I got.
I've never seen, only at the cabin, but I barely see you without button up.
Seriously?
Even when I just saw a picture somebody posted, you had to be 12.
Sure.
And you got a button up on. I said, what is going on? Okay, I do need to know this before we end. Why? Why the button ups? I just want to know.
It's part of. I think it's part of the nerd thing. Like this is always, like you said, it's always been my style. Always. There's pictures from when I was 5 or 6 years old, and then that I blame on my parents, of course, because I can't go to the store and buy then. But
come on,
exactly. But I started to like it, and my old thing is I used to have a T-shirt underneath, and I would unbutton it all the way. And I would have my shirt open, and I would have my T-shirt underneath, and I thought I was just the coolest kid. Spiked hair back. All the swag in the world, like, how you guys doing? What's going on? But no, I was just the biggest nerd on the planet. And it's carried over.
How many button-ups you think you own?
enough to give a middle
seriously
enough to give a middle school science teacher a run for their money.
It's crazy. Oh yeah, because they got it.
Yeah, you know they do.
That'd be a battle. I'm not gonna lie. I might need to find a science teacher and say, look, I got somebody that might got you. That's hilarious.
It's unbelievable.
Yep. But and it's a brand too. I ain't gonna lie. Because if you showed up here in a t-shirt, I would have kicked you out.
So who's this
Go
guy?
get dressed. Like, be a human right now. You know,
put yourself together. What's going on?
You look terrible.
Seriously.
Are you okay?
Yep.
So if you ever see Hunt without a button up, something going on.
You know something's going
talk
on.
To him.
Ask me how I'm doing.
Yeah, and really mean it.
Really mean it. We just talked about
going
this.
Through. So, no, hey, that was another exclusive for y'all that ain't know.
There we go.
But Hunter, I always enjoy time hanging out. We're gonna do this more.
We're gonna 100%. This summer, we're both busy people, but this summer we're gonna find at least a couple opportunities.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, trust me. If I plan on being in town this next weekend, I'll definitely pop out to the show.
That'd be awesome.
And then cabin party after that.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Hey man,
put them back.
Thank you.
Good to see you, brother.
Hell yeah. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll see y'all next week. Look out for this episode dropping on Saturday. Well, it is gonna be Saturday. I'm just talking. Anyway, see y'all. Boom.